And NC Bipindra, the editor of the Defence Capital magazine, is joining us live. Mr. Bipindra, good morning. Thank you for joining us on Republic. Now, to begin with, Mr. Bipindra, what do you make of the big headline that's coming out of that meeting between Kamala Harris and the Prime Minister, where we understand that Kamala Harris, on her own, took the name of Pakistan and terrorism in the same breath?
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on your morning show today. And this is a very important question that you have asked. I believe that what the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, has stated in the bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Modi indicates that what they speak while they are politicking inside the United States and what they would be saying and doing while they are in the government are entirely different. If you remember, Kamala Harris had a very pro-Pakistan views while she was in the opposition, basically attacking President Trump of that time. But once she's in power, once she has become the vice president, she realizes the complications of South Asian politics, geopolitics in South Asia, and hence her stand towards Pakistan is a continuity of what the previous US governments have always had. And what she stated about the terror, as far as emanating from Pakistan is concerned, is 100% true. And this the world has witnessed. And a lot of the UN-designated terrorists are having a safe haven in Pakistan. And this is a fact that has been established time and again, including when Osama bin Laden was assassinated or killed by the US troops. So what Kamala Harris has stated is nothing but the truth. And what she has stated is a world-known truth. And I think it is good that the United States administration of President Joe Biden is aligning itself with the thoughts that India has always put forth. And also that it would be better if all these nations come together and push for a stronger anti-terror, counter-terrorism action in the United States against Pakistan, and probably even designating it as a terror state, and ensuring that they comply with all the FATF assurances that they have given over these years, in the last few years, and also that Pakistan needs to be reined in as far as global terrorism is concerned. And what has happened in Afghanistan in the recent time also is a clear indication of how Pakistan has been supporting terrorism in this region and also exporting terrorism globally and also in its neighborhood. Particularly, India has been a victim of Pakistan-sponsored terrorism for over a long period of time. And we have had several killings that have happened in Jammu and Kashmir, political killings that have happened, terror attacks that have happened, suicide attacks that have happened in Jammu and Kashmir. And all these are clearly Pakistan-sponsored, and also the Mumbai terror attacks of 2008, where there were also the American nationals who have been victim of the terror attack. So these are clear indications that the Joe Biden administration is taking a view on Pakistan, which is very much closer and in alignment with what India has always been talking about. And if you recall, just recently, one of Joe Biden's officials from the State Department talked about punishing Pakistan for its support to Taliban, in Afghanistan, and how, by force Taliban had assumed power in Afghanistan, dismantling and dislodging the civilian government of that time. Just a couple of months ago. This has been witnessed very clearly as the US troops withdrew, and I think probably these are factors that are contributing to how the US administration is looking at Pakistan in the recent times.
The fact that there is AUKUS and there is the Quad. AUKUS, of course, is military in nature, but Quad looks more like a geopolitical sort of a grouping that the US is now eyeing. Now, for our viewers, break down the difference between the two.
Yes, AUKUS is a very recent phenomena where Australia has been taking some drastic decisions that are, in alignment with its own security concerns. particularly China has been a major factor in the decisions that Australia has been taken, and because it's basically AUKUS is basically a military alliance that has happened. It's a tripartite military alignment that has happened among Australia, the United States, and the United Kingdom, where Australia will be getting arming itself with nuclear-powered submarines to basically help Australia to save its maritime interests in the Indian Ocean region, in the Indo-Pacific region, which includes Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean region. This is also a concern for the Quad grouping, which is basically a diplomatic grouping. It's not a military alliance as of now, where there are 4 nations that have come together with common interests in democracy and transparency and free flow of maritime business traffic in the Indo-Pacific region. These 4 nations are, of course, apart from India, we have the United States, Japan, and Australia, which have a common concern against the belligerence that China has been exhibiting in South China Sea, and also in the kind of posturing that it has been doing and the expansionist activities that it has been doing in terms of military operations that it has conducted in Ladakh against India. These are some of the concerns that has brought together Quad. However, it is, as Abhishek earlier mentioned, Quad does have some element of military in it, in the sense that in all these 4 nations have already conducted 2 back-to-back naval exercises, one in the Indian Ocean region and one in the Pacific Ocean region. So in that sense, the concerns of most of the nations that are part of the Indo-Pacific region, including those nations which are littoral nations in South China Sea, can expect the Quad to be a balancing force in the region against the belligerence and the hegemonic attitude that China has been exhibiting in the recent years, particularly under President Xi Jinping of China. So this is the kind of difference these two have. India and all these 4 nations of Quad have always been stating that this is not against a specific country. However, it is basically to ensure that there is freedom of navigation in the Indo-Pacific region, and also to ensure that there is some amount of leverage that the democratic nations of this region have over the belligerence that China has been exhibiting against them in the region. So, in that sense, Quad is a balancing force in the Indo-Pacific region. And for that reason, I believe the 4 nations should continue to pursue this. And these are some of the issues that I'm sure the Quad nations are going to be discussing when the first in-person meeting of the summit meeting of the 4 Quad nations is happening in New York on the invitation
and
of
Mr.
US.
Bipindra, several issues for that matter are going to be dominating the discussions that are to take place in the next few hours. But thank you for putting that into perspective for us and our viewers.